What's going on, folks? It is Fury time. Yeah, we're a little late, 8 minutes into the hour, but we got a great show for you guys. We got Ted, we got Josh, we got a new little segment. The fella's going to talk a little bit about it, but it's glad to be here. Cold cuts. Pew, 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 pew. We're here about to talk about free agency. And I'm giving the show off to you, Tim, Josh. What it do, baby?
Oh, it's all good.
Man.
All good.
Tim, I wanted to say, though, we got a few things to get off our chest ever since the draft ended. So we're going to start this segment off with a little segment called Punt That. Things we just got to say.
We got to punt that now?
Yeah, we got to get this off our chest, Tim. Start it off, Tim. Start it off.
That's a wrap. I'm punting it right now. Todd Bowles doesn't have much of a job security after this season, and then he's drafting two safeties in the first two rounds of this year's draft. Josh, I'm Todd. Where's the quarterback, Todd? Todd, man, punt that.
Whew. Yo, everyone wants to know why Chicago traded up for Mitchell Trubisky. How about John Fox making some phone calls to a prestigious coach like Jeff Fisher? Man, he's tied #1 all time for the worst record as a head coach. And that's who you go to for advice for building a team? Punt that!
Oh, listen. I got another one, Josh. It's bad enough Washington wanted to be a racist organization. And now they're trying to play a man that's bleeding for them because the name is Kirk. Don't they realize is that with that Kirk rhymes with Earth? Look at my man Dirk, man, punt that.
Yep, Dirk and Kirk all day. No. I believe that. Listen, what's Seattle's biggest issue been for years right now with Russell Wilson? His offensive line, correct? They waited until their 9th pick to draft a tackle. If I'm a 12th man, I'm over here like, man, punt that.
I got something else to say, Joe. When it comes to the Houston Texans, there's 3 plays that come to mind. Savage, Clowney, and what? Them last name describes their offseason, Josh. Texas fans, you're a bunch of savages. You're a bunch of clowns. What, man? Punt that.
While we're on the Texans, Tim, someone as a great Hall of Fame quarterback as Tom Brady, he had some hiccups in Bill O'Brien's system. And now you're telling me that the Texans went and drafted a quarterback like Deshaun Watson who doesn't know how to read a football field? And he's expected to learn from Bill's playbook while they're in win now mode? Man, oh man, punt that.
Hey, Josh, guess what? Cam Newton may borrow Russell Westbrook's clothes. But guess what? He needs to borrow Russell Westbrook's attitude, man. Punt that.
He's got the triple-double down getting those ties in the regular season. But, yo, how you going to hate on a man that dresses in flower-designed shower curtains at Coachella? How dare you say a man that's been hit over 500 times needs to borrow attitude? He has injuries, man. Punt that.
Guess what, Josh? Here's a question. What does O.J. Simpson gloves and Gavin Clowney's situation have in common? When she went down to check the pipes, if it didn't fit, it must have quit. Man, punt that.
Oh, boy. Listen, last thing I got to say is, speaking of offensive lines, I know it's a touchy subject, but let's bring it down to Chicago right one more time. Did they not learn from the delusions that Jay Cutler's displayed after being sandwiched his whole career? They waited until the 5th round to draft a guard. Are they trying to make the Browns crown? AKA, are they trying to be the Cleveland as the biggest laughing stock in the professional football operations? Man, punt that.
Punt it.
Get rid of it. Oh, Oh man, let's get into it though. That was a fun little segment just to get the blood flowing. That felt good. Had to get all that crap off of my chest. So now, Tim, we're gonna roll into it. We got free agent talk now. The draft has passed. The fun times are over. We got over our mocks. We got over the live draft. We got over even the draft party, which was awesome. So now there's still the people out there.
I just want to jump in real quick just to let everybody know that's watching the YouTube show, Fury. If you want to chime in, we do have a line open. Just dial right in. It's 718-313-5155. Say with your chest if you got something to say. All right, bring it back to you, Josh. What you got to say, bro?
I'm sorry. One thing we have to address. If anybody's asking for Della and Frogman's whereabouts for tonight's show, they are in mini camp meetings held in Philadelphia at a spot called, I think, Woody's. If you go down the block and make a left, there's a Gentle Dental there. Coladas with the players and talking about the importance of getting ready for camp.
I actually heard Dula was over there in Detroit Stadium hanging a second banner that says second consecutive playoffs made, 2017. So very happy for Detroit. They get to hang another banner. Awesome for them. But Tim, there's a lot of veterans and some even some young bucks out there that are free agents right now, still looking for a team. So let's get into it. Let's talk about those people. We're going to start off actually on the offensive side because everyone loves the offense. It's an offensive game, right? So let's go into the quarterback, most important position. You got the most controversial quarterback out there right now, Colin Kaepernick. He's 29 years old, and now you have Jay Cutler, who's presumably hanging him up. He's 34, and you got Ryan Fitzpatrick out there, 34 years old as well. And then you got some young guns like Blaine Gabbert and RG3 at 27. Do you see any of these people having a possible home this year?
Well, I'm glad you said that, John, because we have to at some time put this Colin Kaepernick issue away soon. And don't, again, this is March 10, 2017. No disrespect. I am grateful for what this man has done, for the message he has sent. It was a great message and all, but I'm only going to give my football knowledge of it, not the politics. So here's what I'm going to say. Okay. So when he was Colin Kaepernick was not doing so well in the league, everybody noticed how when Jim Harbaugh left, his skills diminished. The thing is, he needs a special type of coordinator, a special type of offense to use his skills. He's not a pocket quarterback, in my opinion. He's a guy that needs to run in space. So with that being said, we have to now, look at the teams out there who have a quarterback issue that may need his service, whether it's a starter or for a backup. Now, at 29 years old, he's definitely a backup guy. We have fans, put him in the Jets. Are we just trying to give him a handout or just, put him on the Jets, please, so he can be signed? No, he don't deserve to go on the Jets. The Jets are bad right now. He needs to go somewhere where the situation is great for him, and that if the starter goes down, he can lead that team. And I only have two teams. I have maybe 2 to 3 teams in mind, Josh.
Right.
And the first team is going to be, of course, the Seattle Seahawks. Why? They have a great locker room presence. They have great leadership over there, okay? If the media tries to stir something up, they have the guys who know how to talk on the mic. And that's a great spot for him. And on top of that, most important, like I said, the type of offense they run with Russell Wilson fits Kaepernick's style. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Why? Because Chip Kelly's over there. They don't have faith in Blake Bortles. So here's the thing. What's behind Blake Bortles? If I ask that question to every NFL fan, even a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, they have to Google the freaking guy's name. So that tells you they got nobody behind there. So Kaepernick could go to Jacksonville. My next team is the Tennessee Titans. Now, again, if you look at what's his name? The Titans quarterback's name. Nah, I forgot. And he's a good name too.
Mariota?
Yes, thank you. Marcus Mariota. Okay. I feel, he's coming off a ACL injury or broken leg. It's gruesome. That takes time. Kaepernick and him got the same kind of the same skill line, and I'm sure the Tennessee Titans could do something for Kaepernick's style. He'll fit right over there. Those are my three top. Excuse me, and the Houston Texans, who are savages, clowns. Okay, what? On there with a rookie named Deshaun Watson, a quarterback named Savage, and my God, the nightmare quarterback in Wheaton. And you're thinking they're gonna take you somewhere? That's my fourth team, and that's it.
Yeah. Good points. It's good. It's nice that you bring that back up too, because not a lot of people know the Mariota issue with it happening so late in the season. A lot of people forget that he had that injury and he was put on IR at the end. But I like the spots that you listed for Cap, because a couple of my spots are for Kaepernick are Dallas and Seattle. For Dallas, they don't really have a backup after losing Romo and Sanchez. Cap would be capable of stepping into it for Dak if he were to go down, and he could run a similar type of offense in terms of zone reads, especially with Zeke behind him. And then with Seattle, they've never had a consistent clipboard holder, and right now the backup is Trevone Boykin. I would have to imagine Kaepernick is a bit of an instant upgrade in that department, and why is it hard to imagine he could slide right in and perform if something were to happen to Russell Wilson? So I like those spots for Cap. And as far as Jay Cutler goes, yeah, he may have hung him up, but let's play a little fantasy football here. Blake Bortles is going into his fourth year, and he hasn't provided much evidence that he's worthy of a franchise quarterback right now. Tom Coughlin now runs the show, and he really didn't have a hand in picking Bortles. I would have to imagine being a fan of the Giants, and since Coughlin had a long tenure here, based on his attitude and his statements in the past, I would imagine that Bortles really isn't his type of guy. So why not bring in Cutler for competition? And if Bortles obviously can't outplay Jake Cutler alone, why bother keeping him around? That right there is a testament alone. So the QB class looks better in 18, and a veteran quarterback on a one-year contract wouldn't compromise the future for Jacksonville. So, hey, let's just give it a shot. So those are my spots for the quarterback position. Good points, though, on your end. For running backs, a couple key running backs out there, even though a little old in age. The top guy is going to be LeGarrette Blount, obviously. And then going down the lines of importance, I would say it's probably due to age, Rashad Jennings, and then D'Angelo Williams, since he's still 34 compared to Jennings at 32. Then you got Starks, who's 31. CJ2K still out there at 31. And then Reggie Bush, although just 32 in a sense, he's kind of been neglected by the league, it seems, the past couple of years. Hasn't really had much of a spot, even though he has had a team. Tim, any good running back spots or fits you see right now?
Yeah, listen, I'm going to have to go with LeGarrette Blount. Running backs don't really last too long, and he's very serviceable. We saw what he can do with the Patriots, and you need enough running backs. You want to have an identity. You want to have that running back who definitely could catch out the backfield, receive the pass, but you also want to have that bulldozer on 31, 4th and goal, things like that. We saw how the Atlanta Falcons had to score their touchdown in the Super Bowl. They need that power run. And I think at 30 years old, LeGarrette Blount is very serviceable. I like him for, it was originally the Giants, but I think the Giants really addressed that need with Goldman, who will be a fan favorite. I also like him with Baltimore because they have Kenneth Dixon. They got Westbrook they just signed. So when it comes to that, you want some type of a big back who could basically run up that middle and clog up some yards.
Yeah, obviously LeGarrette Blount is a top prospect, and I can't see him not signing somewhere, even with the huge class that just came in. Did you list a team for LeGarrette Blount? Did I miss that? Did you say he?
Well, I like it for Baltimore. Baltimore Ravens, of course, right now. Detroit Lions will be another great team for him. We can go with Arizona Cardinals because we see David Johnson. I forgot his backup's name, but he doesn't really hold up sometimes, and that'll be another good fit. Seattle doesn't need that.
And then you're probably going to get
Yeah,
towards what I'm going to say, which is my New York Giants. Because you know, as damn well as I do, they were 29th in rushing last year. And
Right.
despite drafting Wayne Gallman, I'm all for it to see what he has. But there's a reason he was a 4th rounder, especially in the deep class. So Blunt would bring in a lot of needed stability in that backfield. You could argue Shane Vereen's a veteran, but yeah.
I'll give you another team. Hey, Fog, I know you watching Fog. They say, what up in that club you at. But, hey, Fog, the Eagles need him. I mean, why? I mean, let's keep it real. You got Donald Pumphrey, who just drafted. He's, okay. You have, that's all you have. Smallwood is another scat back. So they need a power running game. And power running game is having a big running back now in the NFL is like having a big man in the playoffs, in the NBA playoffs. It's always good to have that. You need to have that.
You could definitely argue that point. I loved having Brandon Jacobs back in the day. Absolutely loved it. And I miss him. I wish we still had a replica of him somewhere. So, yeah, for me, Giants, the 4 Giants running backs last year combined for 6 touchdowns, which is a third of what Blunt had himself.
Right.
And then we go to D'Angelo Williams, I still like for Pittsburgh, specifically just Pittsburgh, because even though they drafted James Conner, which I think is going to be a great story, I think Williams just provides a lot of value to Pittsburgh as a backup, especially when Bell gets his suspensions and maybe injuries potentially. You never know. God bless that he doesn't. And you think they want to bring him back at some point, because it seems like at this point in his career, he's just a nice glue and a perfect mold to that backfield right now in Pittsburgh. So
I have a sleeper running back that I feel has been getting the bad end of the stick for last couple of years, and that's Christine Michael. Who originally was drafted by the Seahawks. He went to Dallas for like 2 or 3 games. Then last year, in the offseason, he went to Seattle again. He held up. He made him. He was definitely doing his thing. And then when they 2 young backs and Rawls and the other guy, I call him the other guy because he's not even worth mentioning. He hasn't done anything yet. But the other guy, they come back from injuries, and what happened? They let go of Christine Michael. He goes to Green Bay, and my God, Green Bay is still running the offense with Ty Montgomery, who's a receiver, Josh, a wide receiver. And then you chose a fullback. You got a running back. Christine Michael is a solid running back. Somebody needs to go out there and sign him and stop playing the effing games. Listen, the Eagles can sign him. You need a good back. And you know what Christine Michaels offer you? Toughness. Big back. I don't understand what he has done wrong. Yeah. I that's the one NFL question I must ask. Why y'all keep letting him go? We don't see him do bad enough. Hey, listen, against the New York Giants in the playoffs in the 3rd and 4th quarter, look at the carries he was getting.
Yeah.
And against Atlanta, they still went with Ty Montgomery in a fullback. Why? Because he doesn't know the offense as much. I mean, it's running the ball. My God.
Yeah, there's absolutely no question they need help in the Packers backfield. I was going to say Blunt would be a perfect fit for the Packers backfield.
I mean, do we all get it? You see your hole, you in the hole. You see the hole, you in the hole. You see the hole, you in the hole. It ain't hard.
Yeah. Blunt in Baltimore too could be interesting if you were to go that route. So receivers, wide receivers, got a few names out there. Wide receivers, well, old boy, Vincent Jackson still in the league, 34. We got Anquan Bolden at 36. We got a couple 30-year-olds, Stevie Johnson and Victor Cruz. We got the speedy boy, Andrew Hawkins, who's 31. Michael Floyd, little drinky boy, who's 27 years old. Probably looks like he's 30 if he keeps it up. And then Cecil Shorts, who's 29. Didn't really make too much of a splash last year, but could he be serviceable somewhere, Tim? Who you got?
The Michael Floyd, he just signed with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why, but he signed with the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to be interesting to see how they do that. So he got signed today.
How long ago was that?
Ago.
That's interesting. I didn't even know he got signed. So
they didn't even announce it that big. I was on Twitter just looking. Oh, Michael Floyd got signed.
Interesting.
Yeah, ain't nothing big.
Yeah,
But you know
I
what?
said Minnesota could be a nice home fit since he's from St. Paul, so that's interesting.
All right, that's a good thing. Listen, I like Anquan Bolden, even at 36 years old. I think, you know what? Anquan Bolden needs to go somewhere where he'll be that nice short yardage guy. He's great in the red zone. A similar way Detroit used him last year. And Baltimore Ravens, who needed wide receiver, will be a great spot for him to go to. I think of the union with the Arizona Cardinals, with Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden will be something the fans would definitely love. You know, he's a very good veteran. Of course, he probably doesn't want to do mini camp or, you know, some training camp, but I think those two, you know what, even the New Orleans Saints be a nice spot for him. Why? Because, okay, ever since Jimmy Graham, even though they have a serviceable tight end, it don't hurt to have another big body opposite of Michael Thomas and Snead. That's another good spot for him. So he's very serviceable. I like Anquan Bolden out of his whole list.
Tim, there was another guy you brought up earlier in the chat with me. Mr. Salsa.
Oh! Hey, listen. I'll tell you this. Victor Cruz, okay, he needs to go somewhere where, okay, you're not playing outside wide receiver. You're playing your role. We want you to be used the way the Giants used you when you was a star. And it's that slot role. That's all you need him to do. And, you know, there's a few teams like the Patriots can definitely use him. They don't. It's the Patriots. We have, again, Baltimore Ravens. We have the New Orleans. Any team that needs a guy to go over that middle, a slant or whatever, Victor Cruz is still very serviceable. Heck, why not even the Carolina Panthers? Why not them? And I mean, Cam Newton's like this. Watson got all them boys, and I got this. You know, you need something over there. So,
see, I'm going to strongly disagree on Victor Cruz. I don't think he has it anymore. I don't think he has a pep in his step. I think that injury decimated his career. I think the only shot he has left in the NFL this year is begging Tom Coughlin for a shot. And that's because he knows Tom and Tom knows him. That's his only saving grace in the NFL in the 2017 season and his career is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, and they have an abundant amount of receivers already. So good luck, Victor Cruz. I feel bad, but it is what it is in this league. If you can't perform, you're done. You know, okay, I don't think he has the slot wide receiver material anymore. He doesn't have that burst. So no separation, no slot. You're done. So other than that, Anquan Bolden, I do love too. I still think he's a minimum men. And at 36, I think he would be great in the Baltimore locker room. Reunited Anquan with the Ravens would be great. I think right now the Ravens receiving room looks like Michael Campanaro, Mike Wallace, Brashad Perriman, then Vince Mayle, Chris Moore, Chris Matthews, Kenny Bell, Keenan Reynolds. Not very mouth dropping or eye widening, whatever you want to call it. They also didn't draft a wide receiver.
Right.
They could use a dependable veteran. And despite being 36, he's averaged 686 yards the past 2 seasons. He's not a wide receiver one guy anymore, but he's solid, a possession type of guy. And the reunion seems perfect there. Michael Floyd, that's funny. I didn't know personally that he actually signed earlier with the Vikings. I had fits such as Chicago, the Rams, even Kansas City and Minnesota because he is from St. Paul, so we could probably enjoy a chance to go back home, and it might be better for him mentally. And it gives Sam Bradford a deep threat as well at the same time. So, hey, Minnesota, it might be a win-win scenario for him. Maybe being closer to home. Maybe it's less problems for him off the field. Vincent Jackson, I know he doesn't really have the burst or the separation anymore, but someone like Cleveland could use him. Not looking for much on field production as the Browns are getting younger at this position, but young guys like Corey Coleman and even Josh Gordon, if he's reinstated in Cleveland, they could use the veteran presence over there to serve as a mentor type of role in Cleveland. The rest, I don't think Stevie Johnson really has anything that separates him among other receivers anymore in the league at 30. Cruz's injury we discussed. Andrew Hawkins, speedy guy, but at the same time, the newer draft class kind of just washes him out in a sense, I think, at 31 too. I don't think he has much of a lifespan anymore. Cecil Shorts, it's kind of sad when the Jaguars don't want you anymore. And then I forget where he just came from. I'm guessing like Tennessee, but I'm not positive. I can't remember. And if he's coming, Tampa, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, and even they need receivers. So if they're letting go Shorts, there's something wrong, or he just doesn't have it anymore. So I think that wraps it up for receivers. Because they're going younger, and the class was rich this year. So let's bring it down to tight ends. Some okay tight ends. There's one big name, Gary Barnidge, that pops out even at 31. But you also have people like Jordan Cameron at 28. He might say he's retired, but we'll see. Larry Donnell, 28. Jacob Tammy's 32. Brandon Myers is 31. Tim Wright, interesting, because he was involved in a trade with the Patriots and Lions, and he's only 27, but he's still sitting out there.
Yeah, listen. You know what? I tell you this right now. I'm liking Gary Barnidge a lot. You know why? Because he's a proven guy, and if I'm the New York Jets right now, I'm on the phone saying, "Hey, listen, we have no tight end. Come over here." You know why? It's because Josh McCown's over here, and if you're gonna let's keep it real. The Jets said they're holding up a quarterback go up against each other. And the thing is, we all know Bryce Petty and Hackenberg, the way they're talking about him, are not going to start for this team. So therefore, if you go with Josh McCown, he's that bridge quarterback, give him something to work with, and a guy like Barnidge, and that will be something decent to look forward to the offense.
Yeah. Absolutely. I like that. Yeah, for Gary Barnidge, I like for Gary to go to Carolina. I know Carolina fans can be like, Shim, shut up, man. We got Greg Olsen. You dumb, whatever. But okay, yeah, you have Greg Olsen. But listen, the Bucs just got O.J. Howard. They're going to pair him up with O.J. Brate. And it seems the NFL, especially the NFC South, may be gearing up for that two tight end formation, especially the NFL overall. It looks like they're trying to go for that two tight end formation and kind of copy the Patriots in a sense, especially for a run-heavy team like the Panthers who just drafted McCaffrey. Hey, Barnidge could work out well for him. So I like Gary Barnidge over there. For the other tight ends, I just don't think they have much left in them. Even Tim Wright, dropped from the Pats, traded in, essentially, and then let go by the Lions, especially when they're in need of tight end too. Unfortunately, I just don't think he has it in the league anymore. So we're going to bring it to the last position on the offensive side of the ball, and that is the offensive line. We got some tackles out there, such as Breno Giacomini from the Jets, who's 31, Sebastian Vollmer, who's 32. You got King Dunlap, who's 31, and you have Ryan Clady, who's 30. And then we have a center out there, Nick Mangold, who's 33. Still serviceable, but maybe the age and the position he plays isn't wanted anymore. Tim, spill it.
You know what? Nick Mangold is the best guy on this offensive side, and he's a proven vet. Mm-hmm. If a team needs a center, which the New Orleans Saints, they need a center right now because their starting is currently right now starting to pup. So instead of you trading away players, you could use them, and then when your starting center comes back, you can move Mangold to guard. Fit, but then Mangold could go to the New York Giants, of course, who would need somebody. The Cincinnati Bengals need somebody. The Minnesota Vikings. You have a lot of teams, whether it's center or guard.
I like that. Yeah, Nick Mangold. That's perfect. New Orleans with Unger going down. Didn't even think about that. For me, I had two teams for Mangold, actually. Ravens. Ravens centers as of now is either John Urschel or Ryan Jensen because they traded Jeremy Zuta to the 49ers before the draft. And then Mangold is an instant upgrade, and they've had him for a visit, so there is interest between the two. The other being Los Angeles Rams. The Rams added Andrew Whitworth in free agency, and they have an opening in the middle of the line, so maybe Mangold is intrigued by the warm weather of L.A. after years in the big city. Right. For the offensive line, though, I like the tackles like Dunlap and Clady to go to Seattle. Seahawks are still in desperation mode for help on the offensive line. Clady isn't the shutdown left tackle that he was in Denver, but he's still serviceable if he's healthy, and that's the same with Dunlap. So Luke Jokel, he was just signed as their left tackle, but they could slide either of those two over to the right tackle and Pete Carroll loves his competitions for those starting jobs on the line. So just bring him in and see what the big boys got.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in real quick. Just let people know that our line is open. You can dial in, say with your chest, 718-313-5155. All right, Tim, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, Sean, post that in the comments too on the wall so I can post it on my cam so people can have that number 2 pasted over, and I'll keep it up permanently for us. That's a good idea. Tim, we're going to bring it down to the defensive side of the ball now. Let's bring it.
Defense. Let's need
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's start on the D line. Actually, let's bring it on the other side of the OL. Let's bring it to the pass rushers and let's start off with the pass rushers, the DEs, like Mario Williams, 32 years old. We got a Tyson Jackson who's 30, Glenn Dorsey, 31, Eugene Sims, who's 31, and then you got some of the defensive tackles out there, like a Dan Williams from the Raiders, who's 29 still, Senderick Marks, who's 30. You got Jared Odrick, who's 29 from the Jags. And then some old books, Jonathan Babineau and Vince Wilfork are 35, and Arthur Jones is 30. Any of those big boys along the DL, where can they fit into?
Darren Williams. Oh, listen, Darren Williams, I know you're familiar with your team, the Giant, what Snacks was and Hankerson, who went to the Colts. Darren Williams is that big boy that you need when it's like a 31 or 4th and 1. Bam, he clogs up that whole middle, and that's what you need. We need that big, sloppy defensive alignment who's gonna say, "What? You're not getting this 1 yard. You're not getting this inch. We got this." And you know what? I like Dan Williams. Very low key. I like Dan Williams.
Nice. Yeah, because it looks like in the past, Dan Williams had a mutual interest with the Giants. So I could possibly see that happening still. It was originally they had interest a couple years ago. And I they could go back if they think Davin Tomlinson isn't ready to start right away, being them or seeing they're probably in win now mode. It's hard to see them sticking with a rookie to handle the major role in the D line. So, and it also brings in competition for Rob Thomas and Jay Bromley. There was another 2 along the D line that I liked. Senderick Marks, I think he could fit in well with Detroit. Line's best defensive tackle is 33-year-old Haloti Ngata. They could desperately use another body to throw in the mix, and they didn't really draft anybody along that defensive line. So Marks isn't a savior, but actually finished with a higher passer rusher rating than Ngata per PFF. And then I like Jared Odrick. I think I would personally like him better than Dan Williams over the Giants, but because he's younger and he's got the versatility to him, I think he comes with a higher price tag. And I think the Denver Broncos are looking for that more versatile guy who can play a couple spots on the defensive line. So he was cut for cap reasons, and obviously the Giants are in penny pinching mode right now, so that's another reason I see him going to Denver over the Giants. And you'd have to think that Denver is licking their chops at a guy who can play some multiple pieces up front.
But you know what? This is the time where you want to hold out and see your option, but at the end of the day, don't hold out too long because once camp starts around June or July, what's going to happen is you got to wait for an injury to happen. So if they invite you to come in, they give you a deal, don't be choosy and thinking that somebody else may want you. You better sign that deal and compete your butt off.
It's a very good point. Okay, let's bring it to the next position now. Let's bring it a step back, and that's that defensive formation to the linebackers. Some big boy names in the linebackers.
I love it. We got the names here.
We got a DeMarcus Ware out there at 34 years old. We got a Robert Mathis at 36. And then we got DeAndre Lee, who's 30. We got Elvis Dummerville, who's 33. We got Trenton Cole, who's at 34. Paul Kruger, who's 31. There's a Chad Greenway still sitting out there at 34. And your favorite, your boy, Rolando McClain, 27 years old. Your boy.
I'll say this. Rolando McClain, and
your boy.
And he was awesome with us for 2 years. And he was a big man. He loved to hit. He made plays. This is what he chose to do. And he's no longer in the NFL. But man, he was an animal, and I'm the first to say I would have loved to have him. If he had his head on his shoulder correctly, I would have loved to have him in Dallas. This dude was a force, top 10 pick overall. But my next favorite guy on this list is Ray Maluga, who was released from the Bengals. Why? Because Ray Maluga is a hitter. He's a serviceable backup. He would be a good addition if you need special teams. He's solid. He has experience. So you could put him in the inside linebacker spot. You could put him in the outside linebacker spot. And, your team, the New York Giants, wouldn't mind some depth like that. I know my Dallas Cowboys wouldn't mind some depth like that. The whole NFC East. We can go with of course, the New England Patriots, because they had lost one of their favorite guys, and he went on to the Cleveland Browns. That's another thing. If the Patriots offer you a contract and you say no, you'll wake up as a Brown. So, Ray Maluga to me is very, very serviceable, and he can help you in a lot of areas in the linebacker position.
I'm only going to list one of the linebackers here that I see. I like Dummerville and Cougar. Where do I have them fitting in at? Mm-hmm. I'm going to start off with DeAndre Levy, actually. DeAndre Levy, the linebackers, I'm going to go with him first. I could see him going to the Patriots, actually. As it is, two of the Patriots linebackers are Shea McClellan and Landon Roberts, so not very big names. The Patriots didn't use any of their 4 draft picks on this position, and it also just seems like a Patriot thing, doesn't it? Let's go grab a guy who's had a great career, but recently it's been riddled with injuries, so it's kind of been decimated a bit, but they bring him in, and then he kind of revives his career at 30 years old, and of course it would just happen because it's the Patriots. So the NFL also banned leaping over the center on kicks, and that was a big specialty of why Shea McClellan was brought in. So I think DeAndre Levy could be getting a little interviewed over there in New England. But I could also see the Bucs or the Buffalo in the mix for Levy as well. And then, like you said, for pass rushers, with the pass rushers like Elvis Dummerville and Paul Kruger, I could see them fitting in something like Kansas City or even Los Angeles with the Rams. The Chiefs are in win now mode, and if they're going to come out of the AFC, it's going to be over the Patriots. Let's just face it. We're all going to be real here about that. They'll need to bother and rattle Tom Brady, as previous teams in the past have shown, like the Broncos, the Giants, etc. And that's really the only way to beat him is rattling Tom Brady. So the Rams, like we discussed a few weeks ago, are undergoing that 3-4 defensive transition under Wade Phillips. And both Kruger and Dummerville come from that 3-4 system that could be a solid addition to an already stacked D-line. So that's why I think it could work out for Kansas City. And same with Dummerville. Kansas City, stack up that line, get it going, rattle the AFC opponents. That's how you get to them. Next. We're getting to the backfield area of the defense now. We're gonna do the cornerbacks. Cornerbacks such as Darrelle Revis, Sam Shields, Jason McCourty. You still got Brandon Flowers. Excuse me. Tramon Williams, Alteron Werner, Justin Gilbert, Tremaine Brock, Gerard Powers. There's a lot of names out there, Tim. And with such a big class coming in, do you still see some of these guys fitting in somewhere?
You know what? I like the Brandon Boykin. I know you I don't think you mentioned him. I like Brandon Boykins.
Okay.
Why? Because I thought the Philadelphia Eagles didn't use him correctly when Chip Kelly was there. He had played in a nickel, but some feel that he was a better outside guy. I like him. He'd be a nice serviceable corner. Remember, he was the one who also that nice big intel to make Dallas not reach the playoffs. And Philadelphia went on, so he saved that team. He went out to Pittsburgh. There was some issues between him and the cornerback coach, but I think he's very serviceable. I also like another guy named Josh Thomas, who basically used to be drafted by Dallas, and he only with the Panthers, he's a big physical corner. Again, very serviceable. The league's getting a lot of bigger wide receivers. But I'm gonna give you another name, and I don't think he'll be out here for long, and that's Darrelle Revis. In my opinion, will be good. He's losing weight. He's back in shape. I don't know how much money he's trying to command or he'll agree to, but I'm thinking the Pittsburgh Steelers might be in play for him. He is from Pitt, so I can see a nice him signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
With McCourty, I still like out of them the McCourty. I like the Flowers, and I still like Jermaine Brock. Arizona or Chicago. The Cardinals, because they still need a number 2 cornerback to play alongside Patrick Peterson, and the Cardinals didn't draft a cornerback, so that would fall to Brandon Williams, who allowed 115.3 passer rating and coverage last year, according to PFF. So that wouldn't be too great for the Cardinals on the defensive side. Another option, Chicago. The Bears defense was pretty quietly solid in 2016. Their unit finished 15 in yards allowed, 12th in sacks. The biggest weakness, though, was the secondary. Where they had just 8 interceptions. They just cut Tracy Porter, and they didn't draft a corner, so Kyle Fuller can't stay healthy, and Amuka Mara is an injury risk. And he slotted to be the team's top corner, so it's kind of questionable back there still, a little scary.
Right.
For Tracy Porter and Alteron Werner, I could see them going to New Orleans. The Saints need a ton of help on defense. I think these are some of the more on the younger side corners. And even if they drafted Lattimore in the first, Werner and Porter aren't a number 1 corner, but they're still going to be solid depth. And it'll be interesting to see if the Saints have interest in reuniting with the Super Bowl hero in Tracy Porter.
Did we add safety to this list or no? That's next.
Did we do what? I'm sorry.
Safeties.
That's actually going to be our last category here for the night. Yeah, free safeties and strong safeties.
Oh, listen. I like Deshaun Goldson, Adam Williams. Trey Boston. That was a surprise move for me with Carolina. He had a great year with them last year, and is in talk with the Buffalo Bills and Dallas Cowboys. So I'm definitely happy with that one.
Isn't too nice to the safety position, is it? I mean, you look at it. You got the young bucks out there that are still striving to get a team like Issa Abdul-Quddus from Miami, who's only 28. Aaron Williams from Buffalo is only 27. Marcus Gilchrist just got cut from the Jets at 28. Matt Elam is only 25 from Denver.
Right.
Dante Whitner is probably the oldest, tied for the oldest out there with like Rashad Johnson and them at 31. So it's pretty crazy, Tim. Yeah, it looks like it's a live fast, die fast position in the NFL.
Josh, is that they're looking for safeties now who can cover, because now the league is changing the rules for the offensive players. First of all, now you can't touch the wide receivers in a certain amount of yards. So now they're calling plays for any big hits. So now it's like, wow, if I'm a type of guy that loves a hit, what can you cover? Won't last here long. You won't be here long. I'm like, wow. It's just like for instance, if the NFL was to take away kick field goals and punts, kickers. I'm sorry, if you're a kicker, can you do anything besides kick the ball? No, you won't be drafted. So with these safety, they now it's like, okay, a long time ago, if you was a hitter, they love you. Because come here, knock his freaking head off. Now, no, can you cover? And that's the main thing. You got to cover ground. If you can't cover a tight end, you can't cover nobody.
Interesting. All right. So what were your fits over there for the safety position? Who'd you got?
Of course, I like Trey Boston with Dallas because we lost Barry Church. Even though we drafted a safety in Woods and we still got other guys there. We signed on Blanton from Buffalo. It doesn't hurt being a guy like Trey Boston for competition. At this stage, you can't just overlook anybody. Bring anybody you can in and see who is the best one. So I like it with Dallas and Buffalo if that's what happened. I also like Marco Thomas. The guy is a tweener between safety and linebacker. He's 26 years old. Could play in the box. Again, your New York Giants, the Philadelphia Eagles. You know what? I'll even give it the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints try to build up that defense. They should have just been staying still. They should be on the phone calling these types of plays to see, okay, what fits, where do you fit at? Are you better than the guy we have here? Basically teams that are in need don't stay content.
Yeah, I feel you on that. So for me, I was actually going to take a corner and transition him into a safety. And that's going to be Darrelle Revis. And Darrelle Revis is going to transition into a safety with the New England Patriots. It's, the media makes it seem like Revis is now like a paraplegic in the NFL who can't play any longer. And I think that's just asinine. He can transition into a pretty damn good safety with his abilities and his knowledge of the game. Obviously, he doesn't have the burner and the keep-up speed anymore to be his own little Revis Island. But, hey, he's got all the tangibles to be a great safety in the league. And with the theme of this offseason of New England constantly just winning, wouldn't it just seem to fit the mold of seeing Revis being reunited with Belichick in New England and just playing lights out at the safety position? Plus, it's easier to see him continue in his career if he's going to a contender, which is New England is every year.
Really quick right now, Dula just said that Darrelle Revis' confidence is shot. He's not viable anymore. He's not serviceable.
Interesting. Yeah. Hey, we could talk about it. Yo, since we're getting to the free agents, we're wrapping it up now. People call in. Tim and I are on the line. Sean's waiting for your call. 718-313-5155. Say with your chest. Let us know. Tell us we're stupid. Let us know where we messed up. Say who can't play anymore, why we're dummies. Let us know. Bring it in. Tim, is there anybody we really didn't cover in the free agent market, though? Is there a couple people, or is there anybody that you think their career is just done? D-U-N?
Well, listen, no career is ever done. Is that my whole thing is situations. My whole thing is that sometimes a change of scenery helps you. And the whole thing is that Darrelle Revis was, a guy like Revis, he was dealing with a lot of issues last year. And, he gained weight. He wasn't playing on his weight. That was proven. It was at 220 playing that corner. So we saw the worst of Darrelle Revis one season compared to great. So my whole thing is this. A guy like Rod Woodson, Bailey, Woodson, those are great corners who transition to safety. And what happened? So I don't think the idea of Darrelle Revis is bad. I just think, okay, what team will benefit, and what scheme will he take the role on? And listen, he won't go out like this is my career. No, not at all. And a guy like Victor Cruz, here's the thing. The thing was this. When it came to Victor Cruz on the Giants, the problem was, listen, it wasn't like he was dropping balls. He was playing the outside receiver spot. His game is in the middle, but again, that's Odell Beckham Jr.'s spot right there. So the Giants had no choice but to play Cruz on the outside. Plus, it's cap money. You can't just cut anybody and not take any type of penalty for it. So they had no choice but to play him there. So, okay, if he goes somewhere where he's need to get a key first down or slant for a touchdown, you're telling me a guy can't do that? My God, if Anquan Boldin at 36 can do that, why Victor Cruz at 30-31 can't do that? And other players, this is bad. It's how if it's the team wants to take the chance on them. And you know what? If the young player is not ready to go, this young veteran, and that's it. But none of these guys are shot, or unless your mind is not into football.
Tim, how come they won't give Ryan Fitzpatrick a chance anymore?
You know why they don't give
Jay Cutler and not Ryan Fitzpatrick?
You know what the difference is? I'm a Ryan Fitzpatrick fan.
We got some Jets fans that are pretty confident in Fitz.
Listen, in no disrespect to any Jet fans who may say, but again, we're talking about a guy who was in Buffalo. That's another thing. Before we judge players, look at the storyline of what they were going through. It's just not, he sucks, or he garbage. Look at what he went through. We're talking about a guy who the head coach was Chan Gailey. Patrick was hot. New ownership came. Chan Gailey was fired. What happens when it happens? What happens? All the time, the new coach want to come in and get his own guy without giving the other guy a shot. So being that Fitzpatrick just got signed, but he didn't fit the offense. Okay, so Fitz now is a journeyman. He goes to the Tennessee Titans 1 year. He goes to the Texans. He comes in a freak injury. Injuries happen. It's part of the game.
Yep.
Then you go to the Jets. Chan Gailey's over there. He did with the Jets than what anybody else did with them. And it was good. It was great. He had Brandon Marshall. He had pieces. He performed. He was two freaking games from the playoffs. Now, him against the Bills or the other team, wait a minute. There's only one guy. Again, let's go back into it. The offseason comes in. The Jets want to take their time. They're going to sign him, but they don't want to sign him for the money he wants. The money, and you're going to sign him the season with a loss of all that camp time. What did you think is going to happen? It starts from the ownership. Everywhere he has went hasn't been the best spots. Guys as a backup of the Giants, or the Seattle Seahawks as a backup, won't perform good. Of course he would. But it's a bad thing that he can't go to those teams because we already stacked. Best teams. And I'm sorry. At Houston, Johnson said Fitzpatrick. Savage? Straight up.
Tim, you know what's funny though? I get the media S-storm with Colin Kaepernick. I do. He really is. He's like the modern day Gandhi. I appreciate that aspect. He's doing everything for his community and pretty much wherever he goes, giving away, helping out community. It's awesome. But I was just on Pro Football Reference, and I'm just comparing his stats with Mark Sanchez right now. Because those two QBs, you could kind of make an argument for. They've had similarities in their career. What I mean by that is Mark Sanchez and Colin Kaepernick haven't been the most gracious and elite quarterbacks in the league, but they were able to get to the NFC or their respective championship games twice in a row because of a great defense and serviceable offensive weapons. And a lot of people don't like to talk about that. Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
No. I didn't mean to. I think I just missed something from what Trisha just said. She said, Tim, you're blaming management for Fitz. He was asking too much.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Trisha, but in the NFL world, if you're a bad team like the New York Jets, not bad team, but a team who had no other options, you give it in. 1 year deal. But here's the thing: if you're the New York Jets, here's the thing: you got Fitzpatrick, Smith in the second round, Bryce Petty in the fourth round, and then you go ahead and you draft in the second round. Okay, now we got Hackenberg, who's still there, and let everybody know I got his autographed signed rookie card that's going down the drain. Anyhow, thank you for that, Hackenberg. But anyhow, it's saying it was said by New York Jets teammates that the man would never make it. He can't throw. He was throwing in practice. He was hitting the fans in the seat. So let's get him out there.
Well, Trish said that
Bryce Petty
didn't need Fitz.
They didn't need Fitz. Well, here's the thing. You wouldn't have need Fitz if you didn't evaluate better. That's the problem. Geno Smith, who was on the Giants, should have been the starting quarterback with the New York Jets. I don't understand what happened. The Jets, I don't know what happened. So he left. The New York Jets. Here's the thing, and it's also with management, not Woody, not the owner, but the owner. You know what? Yeah, the owner has to get a GM who know what they're doing and build a team from the bottom. You drafted 4 quarterbacks between the 2nd and 4th rounds, and as if they're the next apparent, the next ones, and none of them were good. Fitzpatrick was still there. You know, my whole thing is this, and and here's the thing. Right now, you got Josh McCown. He's the same as Fitz.
And it looks like we'll be able to report one of our free agent signings. It looks like the Arizona Cardinals, as of 3 minutes ago, via Pro Football Talk, are going to sign Blaine Gabbert. So one of the QBs we actually talked about, not too much in depth, but we didn't mention his name. He's going to Arizona Cardinals. Carson's got a new backup.
Hey, you know what's funny too? Speaking of that, Jack, I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought him up because here's the thing. What's his name again?
Blaine Gabbert.
I want you to hear that name because everybody hear that name because here's the thing. When Blaine Gabbert was drafted in the 1st round by Jacksonville,
1 year minimum salary.
Right. And the current owner wasn't the same owner who drafted him. He was drafted, and then all of a sudden, a new owner bought the team. Oh, we want to give it to Blaine Gabbert. So everybody, he sucks. Look at the storyline. I keep saying when you're in charge of getting your players, you don't want to get credit of winning with somebody else's players. For all you NBA fans, if you get what I mean, do you see Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr? The Golden State Warriors and Steve Kerr is getting the credit. You don't think he ever got heat for that? Yes, he did. So nobody wants that. So what I'm trying to say with this with Blaine Gabbert is, okay, because Harbaugh, like, wait a minute, I'm from college 2 years ago. I've seen him play. He got the skills. And look, he was pretty good with the 49ers. And he's a solid backup right now with the Cardinals. The New York Jets could have used him. McCown, the same as Fitzpatrick. I mean, listen, right now we should put the movie Invincible with Mark Wahlberg. Great movie. You want to know about that movie, Josh? I love that movie.
Been a long time. Yeah.
No, well, basically, it's Prince Papali. He was a 30-year walk-on for the Philadelphia Eagles, and basically he was their big-time special team guy who made tons of plays. What I love about the movie was that the Dallas Cowboys in that movie, but beat the New York Giants. So I was ecstatic. So this is great. I'm getting some more popcorn. And you know what? The New York Jets should maybe follow the same thing. Put a practice out there and say, hey, listen, I'm going to try as quarterback. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how many people come in there. They can work out. Listen, Vince Young, he's out there playing. Johnny Manziel. The New York Jets can definitely use somebody. Not saying they're a bad team because I still think they could win 6 games this year. 7 and 8 would be a stretch, but going with that Fitzpatrick thing, that's what happened. The management got to do it better.
Over under 4.5 wins for the Jets this year.
I go over. I think they get 6 wins. I really, you know what it is? Get caught up in looking at the rosters. Yeah, we get caught looking at the roster, but we never know what's the initial plan and who steps up and things like that. So, but on paper it says 6 games. I give them 6 games. Being nice and happy.
I think we'll have to touch that up. Yeah, I think we'll have to get into that over under with the wins probably like next week or so. You know, we'll need some categories to talk about, so that could be something we get into next week. But Sean, if we don't have any callers, I think Tim and I are pretty much wrapped up here.
A little dry tonight, but you know what? It's always open every episode, guys. You know,
people are tired after that draft month, man. April was very busy, so people are hibernating now.
People are tired. You know, people were tired. They were tired of fly, Eagles fly.
Oh man, I can't believe you had to go through that abysmal experience.
EAGLE every draft pick, Mike, It could be the 6th round. Boom, boom, boom. Fly, eagle, fly. Every single. My God. And you know what? The best thing about the Philadelphia Eagles is the Rocky statue. It's the greatest thing out there.
And did you get a cheesesteak?
It's cheesesteak. Yeah, I was just about to say that.
No, I didn't. I really didn't this time.
Okay.
But I was. They gave us the sliders. I was able to mingle with Tony Baselli.
I can go for 9 sliders right now.
They were awesome, and they were awesome. And myself and a 2 Minute Warning brother Randy, we was drinking some Kool-Aid and some the slider with the players. and Mr. Randall, who played for Minnesota Vikings, he's an awesome guy to be around. This very experience, but that Eagles song sucks. It really sucks.
Yeah, that's dope though. Looked like a fun experience. Sean, take us away, brother.
All right, folks, it's been great. See you guys next week, same time, same place.
Pew 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 pew.
And Fury's in, Fury's out. Cold cuts.
Put
later, fellas.
Put
that.
Put that all.